we've sort of differentiated all these different tiers in a way we usually do, starting off with lovely Aquaman. Aquaman's kind of interesting. If you are in the back 2 rows, or I guess the back 2 columns is the word, you get access to a hose that will basically always hit the opponent. I guess it won't hit if they're, if one's on the top end and the other's at the bottom, but whatever. It's a really accurate water hose that hits for 3 times. If you're not in those back 2 rows, he throws out a weak little water spot that does some cracking and does a hit. You basically want to use them for those back 2 rows. What's our take on Aquacross? I'm sorry, Aquaman.
Aquaman is, I feel like, criminally underrated.
I could not agree more. So underrated.
It only does 30 less damage than one of the best one of the best megas in the game. And it's compared, like, the decrossing potential on Heat and Charge, solid. I think this is, like, A tier easily. If not, honestly, I would even put it in S tier, because being in the back 2 rows, and even in your middle panel, is not that
so
hard
accurate, yeah.
It just will hit every time, too.
Yeah,
I think it's S tier.
Yeah, I'm torn between these two. I'm down to throw it in S just to, like, get people on this bandwagon. Because, like, at the very least, people are sleeping on Aquaman. Just because he's not, the G-code, nonsense, like, easy peasy, jamming all the powerful chips, doesn't mean he's not great. And some folders really want to get rid of Charge Cross, right? There's a lot of, like, double damage potential you can get. That's kind of cool. He's very accurate. He's not at all hard to get the 3 hits.
Think about all those Gregor decks that want to start with that early Charge Cross because they have low cuss count too, and you're punishing that too. It's so good.
Yeah, agreed. All right, now we got another spicy one, BlastMan. Another extremely accurate chip. If you are in the center, he's going to shoot out 3 fireballs that basically hit every row. You're only getting stopped by obstacles, or if you're, heaven forbid, at the top or bottom rows, you're not hitting the entire field. But for the most part, extremely accurate. He's fire damage, so double on grass. And he's in the B code. What's our take on BlastMan?
If this was a multi-hitting chip, I would put him in S immediately. But because he's not, I think he can do some solid damage. Of course, decrossing. Tomahawk Cross is nothing to scoff at. If you have grass panels, it doubles his damage to 500. It's beautiful. But I still don't think he's necessarily better than Spoutman. It's tough to say. It does require extra setup, whereas Spoutman doesn't necessarily require extra setup to get, like, huge profits. So honestly, I think I would put him in A tier.
Yeah, I think so too. And I will say one other cool thing about BlastMan is that he floats. So you can actually summon him over holes. He's a rare Navi that can work over that, which I think is super notable. And B code is solid. Right, we talk about B-Bros a lot. I'm sure we'll see another on the list very soon. He's just good. As you said earlier, decrossing Tomahawks, nothing to snuff at. Grass panels go on the field all the time with ElementMan, boomers. Grass is very, very, very common. A lot of cool chips in B. So I love him. Honestly, there might even be, there could be an argument. He's very, very good. But I think A is a very comfortable and good spot. Now we got ChargeMan. ChargeMan is in the C chip code. He basically wants you to row lock the opponent as much as possible and be in front of them because he'll summon more train pieces behind him as he tackles into you. The issue with ChargeMan, in my opinion, is that he's, for whatever reason, not fire. He's just neutral for whatever reason. I wish he were fire. But I think he's pseudo-breaking, so I think even though he doesn't show you that, silver circle or whatever, he'll deal double damage to frozen enemies. And he'll break through some shields. What's our take on ChargeMan?
If it didn't break through shields, and if it didn't do double damage on ice, I would have put him in F. But he's a pretty mid chip. I think he would definitely belong there. Because it's still a line nuke. It can still do some souped up damage and stuff like that. It's a cool chip. Yeah. I think C is really good.
I really wish he were fire. And even then, it's not like fire would really save him. Because he's a really awkward, like... Yeah, it's hard to squeeze the most value out of him because, like, you've got to be right up in their face. Anyway, CircusMan is up next. Another C code. He will only hit 3 panels ahead of you, just like Sun and Moon. I believe he hits 6 times, maybe 8 times. He does pierce invis, and I think his damage output is like a little over 300, something like that. What's your take on CircusMan?
It pierces invis, so it has that going for it. But the problem is, it's not much. We put him in F code.
Yeah, I would agree.
Not F code. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but F tier. Yeah, I am not a fan. He's so inaccurate. And you have to go through so many hoops to like paralyze the opponent or make sure they're 3 ahead of you to get like less damage than Aquaman and GroundMan. Like what? Like what? Yeah, like what? You know, with no chance for elemental damage. You know, it does pierce invis, but it needs way more. It better. Like I think if I could patch this game and make him a little better, I would leave him paralyzed, blinded. Like I would basically give him the destroy pulse. You know, it's like they had better leave that circus tent feeling violated.
Exactly, right?
You know what I mean? Like they like you know, just make him right. You know, like that's how I feel. And instead they leave the circus tent and they were like, okay, well, whatever. All right. Indeed. So now up. Wow, all these C's together, we've got ourselves Colonel. He has sword damage. He's a big ol' Z. He does like he's pretty accurate if the opponent's on their 3x3 because there's only 2 panels that'll miss on. He's a little janky though because the Z shape changes based on like the area that is stolen and whatever. So he's not always the greatest, but he does deal some decent damage. I believe he deals exactly 300 at SP. And what's your take on Colonel SP or Colonel?
This is gonna be a hot take, and I don't think a lot of people are gonna agree with me.
Okay.
But what am I without my controversial takes?
Let's hear it.
F tier.
F tier. See, I would throw him in C. That's it. I would throw him in C, but you're thinking just straight F. Just straight up flunk the class, get out of here. Don't come back to school. Like,
here's my reasoning.
Let's hear it.
As you said, he hits in a Z-like pattern. But the 2 panels that he chooses not to hit are probably the most inhabited 2 panels a player can ever have. They are more likely camping forward center or camping back center that it will almost guaranteed miss. The other issue I have with this chip is that it does 300 damage, which is like, wow, why does that matter?
Triggering rage, right?
It triggers rage. So if you get hit with 300 damage, you get free rage boost, and that is not something you really just want to give out to your opponent. On top of the jankiness of how area grabs affect it, I never see any, like, if you're playing C code, you'll play the C Brothers, right? But I can never see someone just splashing in Colonel SP, bro. I just can't fathom. People will play ProtoMan SP before they throw a Colonel in their folder, bro. And it's because of that reasoning, bro.
Yeah. Now, my only rebuttal is I'm seeing chat, and they've got a good point. Are we putting ChargeMan over Colonel? Because I feel like Colonel's got to be better than ChargeMan. You know what I mean? I feel like C is not that unwarranted for Colonel. I feel like it's not that unwarranted.
If you really want to put him in C, you can, but I personally really do think he should be an F. Like, the reason why I think Charge is better is because you have a bit of control on the lining up that you can do with, right? An area grab doesn't screw him up, and it makes him stronger too, right? Yeah. Like, I just don't think it's better than Charge. I really don't.
Interesting. I mean, we could bump Charge down, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting. Oh, yo, Joey, thank you for the sub, my friend. Thank you. Yeah, and I love Star Force. Yeah, I'm torn. Let's do a poll. Why don't we do an audience? Can I get a mod? Can I get a mod to do a poll? Because I could see C or F. I'm curious what the people would say between C or F, between Colonel. C is so fitting too. He's Colonel C, but he could be an F. He could very well be an F because he's a tricky chip, and the payoff isn't even really that worth it. So, yeah, it's awkward. It's a little awkward. Yeah, I need a mod though. Can I get a mod to do a poll? All right, next up is the Count. In H code, he is a time freeze chip. He summons a bunch of blood rain, which I think is, I want to say it's 4 hits baseline, and then 2 extra hits if the opponent is on a normal panel. He's decent. Actually, might be more. Maybe it's 6 to 8. I don't know off the top of my head, but he's a multi-hitting guy, fairly accurate. What's our take on the Count?
Honestly, okay. So the reason why I don't mind going over Count is because the BN6 actually puts him in standard format for us now. And that's the first time he's ever been legal in the standard format. Otherwise, in the olden days with the Game Boy Advance and our Tango setups, he's not usually allowed to be played.
Yes.
But that being said, he's honestly a really solid chip. Like, he does a great amount of damage, and if your opponent is standing on normal panels, specifically normal panels, they take an extra bit of damage from those spikes, and that adds up. I think he's a phenomenal chip. I put him in. I think I put him in either B. Yeah, B tier.
I think B is good. Yeah, B seems solid to me. Yeah, B seems solid. What I wonder what his max damage output is. Out of curiosity, I don't quite remember.
Dang, it's been a while since I've used him, but he's pretty solid.
Yeah, a lot of multi-hitting, which is cool. Multi-hitting is always fun with attack 30s and things like that. And yeah, no, he's solid and pretty accurate too. He's I think if the opponent takes your area, he gets worse, right? I don't know that the blood rain hits the front rows, but still pretty good. All right, guess what, Shifalo, you are about to be a mod. I'm gonna make you a mod right now.
There it is.
There you go, and you can go and do it. Take care of it. I love you. Make that, and your first official mod action is to make that pull. Let's get that pull. All right. Next up is DiveMan. All right. DiveMan is in decode. He's a big. He's like a life sword range kind of, but like not quite because the life sword range like kind of has to be from the front row. I think. He's a decent chunk of damage. He's water. What's our take on Dive?
You know, I see chat saying F tier, and I don't think it's F tier at all. I'm a little surprised. Like, okay, I think honestly, I would give him a C tier. He's not a bad mega chip at all. Like, he does a solid amount of damage. If you have an area grab, you can do a little bit more damage, or you can guarantee the hit. He freezes on ice like every other water chip. I just don't think he's amazing, but he's definitely not F. Like,
I think the definition of a C chip. I think you know what I mean. I think he's pretty good for that. Cause a little awkward, but like still solid and decent damage. You know, mostly accurate, like mostly. So yeah, I like him. All right, DustMan. DustMan is basically the poltergeist equivalent of this game. He's going to suck up all those obstacles. He's going to spit out a bunch of them. And he's also going to, I think even if he doesn't suck in obstacles, I think he just does like one of his own attacks in the front row. What's your take on DustMan?
Okay, so honestly, with DustMan, he's underrated. I definitely think he's underrated. I don't think he's C. The reason being is the ability to just suck up the items and do an extra amount of hits. It's a line nuke kind of chip. It's non-elemental, which is what really holds him back too. But I think he does do some elemental damage actually. Hold on.
Do you think if he spits out the obstacles that
I think it does breaking? Yeah, if you spit on an obstacle.
Because I think even when you're dust cross and you shoot out the obstacles, those are breaking. I'm pretty sure.
But, yeah, I think that's what it is.
So some of it's breaking and some of it's elemental.
I think low B is fine for him. Yeah, and it's guard breaks. Like, I like that.
Do you think B? Because I was thinking C. I don't know. I just feel like he's like...
I meant C. I'm sorry. I meant C.
Yeah, cool. I was going to say, yeah. I was like, I don't know that it's like F bad, but like, you know, and truthfully, like sucking in stuff, like that's already dust thing. Like it's not likely you get like the max value.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. Maybe there's a world. Yeah, I don't love him, I admit, but I think he's mid. That's fine. All right, we got ElecMan. He is in the E code. He's basically a life sword range for the most part. If you're in the front row, he does a lightning zap in that sort of life sword range, and then obstacles will get a zap from him, and will do some AOE damage around. And I believe only those AOE zaps will paralyze the opponents. His main one will not. What do we think about ElecMan? I'm seeing chat say B, and I'm inclined to agree, especially with situationally good for.
I'm definitely inclined to be with B on that one because he's also a chip that's kind of slept on. He does a lot of damage. If you can get those combos to go off, he can do some crazy damage. Yeah, I like him a lot.
I think there's some fun you love base. I love ElecMan. You know, it's he's just a cool dude. Love his pose. And like, yeah, you know, there's like some fun little boiler, you know, VTOL type of stuff. You know, not like you're probably not going to win a tournament with them, but there's some fun stuff that's pretty cool. And you know what? Being an E code, hey, ElementMan, you know what I mean? Like you can get he's got a good. No one talks about the E bros, man. No one talks about the B bros and the C bros, but those E bros, man, they can do some work too. And speaking of those E bros, we got ElementMan. Do we even need to talk about him? I think we all know what he does, but
do we need to talk about him? I don't know. Like,
he's got 4 amazing effects. There's different elements attached to them. He decrosses a million things. He does 1,000 stuff. He's in basically every folder. What are we thinking?
It's an S plus for me, Chief.
Right. If Aquaman is an S, which maybe it could be too generous. Maybe Aquaman is just an A. But if in a world where Aquaman is S plus or is S, then I think it's only fair to give ElementMan that cordial nod, that tip of the hat, because yeah, he is extremely good, very versatile. And I'm actually, this would be a fun debate to have, which of the sort of like, I don't know, 3 horsemen or whatever you want to call them are the best, because they're all very good in their own ways. But ElementMan is just chef's kiss, phenomenal. And speaking of that type of stuff, we got EraseMan up next, another chip that probably needs no introduction. He is a cursor. He pierces through invis, he pierces through anti-damage. He actually pseudo-breaks for whatever reason. He does double damage against frozen opponents. He breaks through the shields. He's pretty freaking accurate, because he's already more accurate than just a line nuke. What's your take on EraseMan?
I think this might be kind of a hot take. Oh, I guess not. No, S tier. S plus tier. I think he and ElementMan are the best mega chips in the game.
Yeah.
Like, people splash K, and he has barrier 200 in K code as well.
Just to get him.
So they splash. I've seen that splashed a lot. And I've seen ElementMan SP splashed a lot as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. They're just that good. All right. GroundMan. GroundMan's great. He's not a line nuke. He will hit you for 1 damage if you're right in front of the opponent, but otherwise you want to dodge, right? So that if he can make it to all the way to the end of the field, he's going to dig for a bunch of rocks. Guaranteed to hit the opponent 3 times for 390 damage at the SP version. And he leaves a bunch of holes and crack panels all the way there.
S tier.
Yep. Yeah.
S tier.
Yeah. He's not as ubiquitous as these two, but extremely good, extremely powerful. Basically, he holds SlashMan in check. Slash Cross, I think, would be so much more of a behemoth.
Here's my reasoning. I don't think there needs to be one. I think he's a little bit better than Aqua, because Aqua doesn't do like stage damage.
Right.
But my reasoning for him not being an S plus is because the 2 chips in S plus do things beyond just damage. And I know that sounds weird, because GroundMan also technically does things beyond just damage too. But ElementMan doesn't just break the panels or crack the panels. He can also make the ice. So he creates a floor for you to move on if you're in a get-into area. He also makes grass panels to completely neutralize the sanctuary if you miss your TFC anyway. He cracks panels with the Elec, so you can make it. Whatever your opponent does, you can adjust your ElecMan to do something profitable to you at almost every time. So, like, I just don't think he's on that level. But he does break those panels. So, yeah, I definitely keep him in S.
Yeah, he's solid. And G code, right? You got to think about the rest of the code. Like, G probably is just the best code in the game. It's insane, the amount of damage you get. Maybe not. Maybe a chip code tier list would be a lot of fun, too. But G is definitely up there. Like, it is not. No one's sleeping on G. G is extremely good. So the fact that you get him, you know, as well as a bunch of other great chips is pretty solid. All right, next up is HeatMan. He's interesting. He does like a big spread fire attack. You know, he's actually not quite the sort of like Gregor Beast breath. He will hit a corner pocket if you're at the top rows. Yeah, what do we think about HeatMan?
This is crazy coming from me.
Okay, I'm ready for crazy.
But I would put him in A tier.
Ooh, wow. Okay, I want to hear this reasoning. Let's hear it. I was thinking B. Let's hear your A.
So the reason why I put him in A tier is because the area of effect that he has is quite massive. And unfortunately, he lives in the shadow of
BlastMan.
He lives in the shadow of BlastMan because he doesn't have the flow shoes, and he kind of does get kind of messed up by broken panels. But I think he just does so much damage. He does 10 more damage than BurnerMan. I mean, excuse me, not BurnerMan, than BlastMan. And I think that area of effect just, it deals with a lot. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's harder to miss that. Like imagine you're playing BlastMan and your opponent goes, okay, I TFC Fanfare. That Fanfare will effectively neutralize that BlastMan, right? But a HeatMan in that situation is going to kill the Fanfare and the opponent too. So like he has situations where he's better. But what makes him niche and what makes him undesirable is, one, he's in H code, so B code really heavily
so much more
makes what BlastMan is what it is. Yeah, like when you have a really good code behind you, obviously people are going to clamor to that, right? And he just has a lot of things going unfortunate for him.
Yeah. And Honornut has a good point too. Kind of like base we were talking about with the Giga tier list. If they're on a hole, he won't hit. The fire from the ground won't hit.
True.
Which is unfortunate. Yeah. And
okay,
I think
B then.
Yeah, I think B is the perfect spot for him. Situationally good. You know, there's some times where he's cool, but yeah, it's really hard to run him over BlastMan, right? Like unless you're in an H code folder, I think it's pretty hard to.
He's so good though.
Yeah.
It's just sad.
I will tell you right now, he's got a great design. So you know, he's one of those guys you want him, you know, you want to use him just because he's just a little mofo. All right, we got JudgeMan. Big ol' electric whip, electric damage, piercing invis, makes the books come. What do we think about JudgeMan? Are you debating S plus versus S?
I am debating S plus versus S.
I think he has to be S plus just because every folder runs him. The lowest of the S plus, without a doubt, right? The lowest.
Well, every folder plays him in the normal state, right? But not every folder plays JudgeMan SP. But I think this is just all three chips we're adding.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're
so
kind
S
of yeah. I think he has to. Yeah, I think he's just too good. Plus the elemental damage, plus the paralysis, plus the invis piercing. You know, get your panels back. Yeah, I think he's really, really solid. I like him a lot. Okay, and the audience decided C for Colonel. I'm so sorry, but you know what? I'll throw him at the bottom of C just for you, Soul. I'll throw him at the bottom of C. Now we got ourselves ProtoMan. ProtoMan is a B chip code because his Japanese name is Blues. He is going to warp up to the enemy, give him a wide slash. He will not work if there's a hole in front of him. He won't work if there's an obstacle in front of him. But fairly accurate. And what do we think about him?
Honestly, I think A is great with him.
Agreed.
The reason why I think A is because he does solid damage. He doesn't trigger rage. He very rarely misses. Your opponent has to be plus area on you, and you're like not in a proper positioning, or it has to be like a hole directly in front of you for him to be denied. But solid damage, he just does a lot of really good stuff. I think I would put him in.
I think A is perfect because we see him. You know what I mean? Like A and up, these are chips you can reasonably expect to see. Like these B codes are way like they're more fringe. I can't remember the last time I saw these guys, but they're solid, right? They're not like awful. You see those B brothers all the time, and for good reason. You know, decrossing Tengu, right? Getting extremely accurate. You know, dealing solid damage, not triggering rage. I think he's great. I think he's really great. All right, we got Roll. Roll comes down, hits for 3 times, heals you for the amounts. I believe she also has air shoes. She can trigger over a hole. What do you think about Roll?
Roll is a solid B tier.
Yeah, like, I think top of B. I think top of B because I've seen her. R is not the worst code, and like Roll V3 is kind of interesting. But I think the overall package isn't too crazy. Yeah, and Imaska asks, would an R code folder omit Roll 3? I don't think they would. I think an R code folder would be very happy to get their hands on Roll 3 personally. What do you think? Do you disagree?
Not at all. If you're playing R code, you're playing Roll 100%. And I've seen people splash Roll. Like, it's really good. She's really good.
Yeah. And Arnott's got a good point in chat. Even if you miss, you get some value. You still heal, you know. So you always get a little something out of her. Healing is pretty solid. Julian is wondering if Aquaman is really better than both the B brothers. That's a fair point. I think that's a fair question. That's a fair question.
The reason why I say yes is because it's a multi-hitting 3 times, right? It does more damage than both of them, first of all. It might not always hit for super... I almost said super effective. It might not always hit for weakness or elemental damage, right? But the fact that it hits 3 times means you're doing more damage on average, and you can also, like... I don't know. I just feel like B Brothers hit the 1 time for 290, or hit the 1 time for 250... Come on, that's Aquaman is really good.
Yeah, he is, and like I think, you know, it's so great to hit for water damage because it's like not the most common thing to expect. You know, I think it's pretty cool. It's very cool. I like Aqua. All right, next up is SlashMan. He is in S code, sword damage, but only on his slash attack because he's gonna summon a bunch of kunais. Those kunais can be doubled with full sync or rage, but they can't be modified with any other boosts. And he can, if you hold the B button, the kunais will home in, and afterward he'll do a little slash. What do you think about SlashMan?
Okay, I know people don't like me putting HeatMan in B, and I know people don't like me putting Colonel in F.
Okay.
But I don't think this can be argued. I think SlashMan is really good. I think he can be an A tier. Like, now, he loses to the same thing that ProtoMan would lose to, right? In terms of having holes. And you do have to be in the backmost panel for the kunais to do a lot more damage, right? But the fact that you can still get more damage potential than ProtoMan and still do slashing sword damage is really good. And you also still get things like Grab Banish in S code as well. Like, S code is so heavily slept on. SlashMan is really good.
Yeah, I think the fact that he's in S code, I think pushes him above. He's either the top of the Bs or like the bottom of the As. But I think he's pretty. Yeah, I think Yamaska nailed it. Slash gets to go where roll goes. I think they're in a very similar spot where they're like pretty darn good. Yeah, I don't know. What are we thinking? Does A, like between A and B, what are we thinking?
I think low A tier is perfect for him. Like, I don't think he's clearly better than those two, but I definitely think he's better than everything in B tier. Like, I don't know. I think Slash is really heavily selected.
I can't decide myself. I'm kind of curious what chat would say between A and B, but
oh wait,
but
did you hear what I said?
Say it again. No, repeat it.
Oh dang. Okay, I don't think Slash Cross is like better than Blast or ProtoMan.
Right.
But I do think he's better than everything in B right now. Like,
yeah,
without a doubt. I think SlashMan is really good.
We're kind of splitting hairs between low A and high B, but where would you put him if you had to go low A versus high B?
I think low A. Like, I really do think low A.
Okay. And I think it's fair because S is like a better chip code than R. Well, maybe not better in a vacuum, but like it is very good. It is very good. I think I agree with that for sure. All right, Tengu. Tengu's in T code. He's fairly accurate. He's wind, so he blows away the life auras. He can hit twice. Surprisingly, I mean, he's basically gonna hit once. Like it's really hard to not hit once. And yeah, pretty solid. What do you think about Tengu?
All right, Tengu definitely A. Like, has to be.
Agreed. I agree.
That shit does so much, dude.
I would put him right here. I would put him between ProtoMan and Slash. If
Tengu wasn't in this game, I think Erase would be even more of a terror than he already is. Like, Erase Cross is such a dangerously great cross that has very limited counters. Like, Wind Rack is in every folder, sure, but TenguMan SP really puts that cross on notice. Like, you see that in your opponent's folder, and you're like, damn, I can't go Erase now.
Yeah.
Like,
no, it's tough. Yeah, he's tough. And like you said, Wind Rack is like a wide sword range unless you beast out. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And you do see TenguMan Star get splashed too, which is pretty solid. Yeah, he might even be like the top of A. I don't know. The placement within A is kind of tough, but he's very good. There's no doubt about it. Very, very, very good. Okay, how about Tengu? I'm sorry, Tomahawk. Another T code. He's pretty interesting because even though it looks like he's just wood, he's actually also sword element. So he's got 2 different elements with that swing. Life sword, fairly accurate. Doesn't flash the opponent. What's our take on Tomahawk?
Another easy A code. Like, that chip does a lot too. Did you know that his swing actually clears conveyor bolts too?
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh, right, because grass panels. Yeah, grass attacks get rid of them. How funny.
Yeah, it's so good. That chip does a lot. I love that chip.
Yeah, that's cool. That's super cool. I love it. Awesome. Well, then let's do it. I think A is great. I think at a certain point the placement doesn't matter. I'll admit, I think between these guys, I'm actually tempted to bump SlashMan down to top of B. Just looking at like these 4 that I definitely see all the time and even get splashed in like star codes. But I don't know. I'm curious what chat and what you would say about putting him at the highest of B. It's splitting hairs. It's not that big of a deal, but
I'm telling you, bro, I've seen people splash S star.
SlashMan star?
Yeah, people have splashed that in their folders. He's really strong.
Okay. Well, I'll let it rest for sure because I think there's no doubt about it. Like he's pretty solid. How about? Oh, that's it. Oh, that was all the megas. I was looking at what came next. All right. How do we feel? And I guess wait. Okay. Wait. We got to take a peek. Is it DoubleBeast? Is it WobbleBeast?
So you got to hit that gear again, my friend.
No. S++. Does my ranking mean anything? Does this ranking system mean a darn thing? And we got S++ up here, man. All right, let's throw up WobbleBeast. Why not?
Here we go.
There it is.
Right up there, bro.
There it is. There it is. Oh wait, where is Django? Wait, I guess we forgot Django. I guess Django wasn't on this list.
Django? I think Django's pretty awesome. I think Django would go B if we had the picture here for him.
Yeah, B seems good. We'll pretend that this blues is B. This is Django. I'll fix him. Yes. I don't know who said that, but yes. He is indeed the key. Okay. I think maybe even better than Heat. I don't know. Once again, splitting hairs. Does anyone in chat disagree with anything that we're saying about this list? This seems pretty solid to me. The only things that I wonder about are like maybe plus or minus Aquaman, maybe plus or minus SlashMan. That's probably it. I think everything is really good. I'm super happy with this. Okay, and people are saying above the count. I think that's fair. He does a decent chunk of damage. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, gang, I don't know. I'm pretty happy with this.